Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Bible study. Today we're going to study about David and Bathsheba. I know we have lots of studies about David because he is the man after your own heart, of God's heart, and he had some kind of weakness, and we're going to study a little bit that we are now going to go through the same problems David had, and we are going to study in 2 Samuel chapter 11. Let's dive in. Oh, it's going too fast. All right, this one here. All right, Samuel 11, verse 1. In the spring, at the time when kings go off to war, David sent Joab out with the king's men and the whole Israelites army. King's men are people that go in front, pretty much. They are the strongest one. They are leading the one that leads everybody else, and they call king's men. So Joab was God's pretty much the main lead, that he will conversate with David, send back and forth what's going on, and the king's men will be like in the front of Israel army, and David should be there as well among them. Now, but David sent Joab out with the king's men and whole Israel's army. They destroyed the Ammonites and besieged Rabbah. But David remained in Jerusalem. What it says in the first verse, when we go first, in the spring, at the time when kings go off to war. So in the spring, when the winter is gone, all the kings, they go to war. But in the last part of the verse 1, it says, but David remained in Jerusalem. He sent his people, commanders and all that, and his army to fight for Jerusalem, on behalf of Jerusalem, but he did not go. His duty was to go and lead his people, but he did not go. So that's not good, right? From the, I can tell, that's not good. Now, for not going, he got bored. Verse 2. One evening, David got up from his bed and walked around on the roof of the palace. So he's rich, he's wealthy, he's established as a king, he has everything he wanted. He had several wives at this point, whoever he wanted have, but he did not go with his army to fight in the war. And then instead, just say he didn't go, okay, but then he has the harp, or he has the musical instruments. He could worship God. He could do other things for God if he wouldn't go. Just say, okay, I'm taking off. In the meantime, I stay and pray for everybody else, that everything will go well, or worship God, sing to God, write psalms. But he did not, none of that. He just he got up from his bed and he's walking around, and it was in the evening. In the evening, when people, they wash themselves and they go to bed. Now from the roof, we are in verse 2, from the roof of the palace, which is all the way high up, he saw a woman bathing. And now his mind is getting crazy. He had wives, but then his eyes are deceiving him now. He saw this lady, a woman, bathing. And of course, you're not bathing with your clothing on, okay? I'm not sure how he could see it from his palace. Maybe it's the angle he had. I'm not sure they have curtains, what it was. But he saw the woman She didn't know she was watched. Okay. And the woman was very beautiful. Wow. Okay. So the woman was beautiful. He could see that far out. He could see probably whole city where he was. And he did go in the wrong place and wrong time. And he let his eyes be deceived. If we properly see it, just turn around. It's not my. I have enough wives. I have all what I need. I'm like famous. Everybody know who David was at this point. But no, he goes further on and he's watching this woman. And he says, oh, yeah, she is so beautiful. In verse 3, and David sent someone to find out about her who she was. And that's another step that went wrong. So one after another, he didn't go to war, what he's supposed to. In the evening, he's walking there and he sees this woman. Instead of turning around and going back in or going at the other side, he's keep watching her and find her that was beautiful. Now, third one is looking into to find who she is. And the man says she is Bathsheba, the daughter of Eliam, and the wife of Uriah the Hittite. Hittite. Verse 4, then David sent messengers to get her. Now, goes from one bad step to another one. He likes her so much, in his mind already wanted her. And even though he found out that this woman was married, and I said he could have any women out there unmarried, he could have princesses, queens out there, he could have anybody he wanted, but he sends for this one who was married. Then David sent messenger to get her. She came to him. Well, when a king in that time calls you to go to the palace, you have to obey, because otherwise it would be consequences. I guess the head gets cut off or something is going to go wrong if you don't obey king's orders. I'm not sure this time if you are invited, for example, to the president in a White House, what could happen if you say no? But in that time, it was very harsh. If you would not go, she would say, no, I'm not going. She didn't know what the king was calling her for. She had no idea. So she came to him and he slept with her. Wow. Which he is David, slept with her, a woman who was married, devoted to her husband. Now she was purifying herself from her monthly uncleanness. So after she finished her monthly uncleanness, she was washing herself, is what happened there. Then she went back. So David slept with her and then sent her back home. But what happened in verse 5, because one sin leads to another, it's how enemy gets to people, for one step to another, and gets them even like for eyes to hit certain places and then to go another step further till they commit the great sin. And when that is committed, then they come and blame them. You see what you did? You see how it was? Now in verse 5, the woman conceived and sent word to David saying, I am pregnant. Wow. Now, married woman, the husband is fighting to save Jerusalem in the war when David was not there, but he is got this man's wife and got her pregnant. Now that's a great scene right there on David's behalf. David doesn't have big scene that will come to the surface. The one we see in the Bible is this specific one, which God did not like it. He usually inquire on the Lord, what should I do? Should I go and fight those? Should I take them? Should I do this? he did not inquire to the Lord. He didn't stay at the Lord's feet this time, and he was deceived immediately by the enemy. Reimagine, like think about Eve. She was deceived like very, very fast. And as soon as I say the eyes hit the fruit and liked, and she fell for it. And this one, his eyes deceived him and saw this beautiful lady, and he wanted her so bad that he went one step further. Next, verse 6. So David sent this word to Joab, which is the one who's leading, and then has like a more like a messenger from David to Joab, and sees what's going on in the camp, in the palace with David, and in the war. And David sent his word to Joab, send me Uriah the Hittite. And Joab sent him to David. Now he's coming. When Uriah came to David, David asked him how Joab was, how the soldiers were, and how the war was going. He could socialize. They had no problem with that. Then David said to Uriah, go down to your house and wash your feet. So Uriah left the palace, and a gift from the king was sent after him. And probably Uriah was like, why the king has all of a sudden, like me, and why is like I'm just a soldier here? What is going on? They probably questioned that, and he may not wanna do what the king say. But Uriah, in verse 9, slept at the entrance to the palace with all his master's servants and did not go down to his house. So he's talking to David, and he went and slept at the palace where David was with David's servants and did not go to his house at all. Verse 10. David was told Uriah did not go home. So he asked Uriah, haven't you just come from a military campaign? Why didn't you go home? Uriah said to David, the ark and Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and my commander Joab and my Lord's men are camped in the open country. How could I go to my house to eat and drink and make love to my wife? As surely as you live, I will not do such a thing. This man, he was so devoted to his work like no other. He didn't feel like, especially talking to David, he's the king, he would not go home. He would rather stay at the stairs in the entrance of the palace where David was, and to take care of uh, the ark. And this is like the other ones, like they will go probably home and all that. He will not go, and says like, as sure as I live, I will not do such a thing. Okay, because everybody, the ark in Israel and Judah are staying in tents, and then why he would stay, go home and eat and drink and be happy. So he felt a little bit not to go. He felt like that would not be right to go home and meet his wife and all that, which everybody would do such thing, would go to their wife and be happy. And it's what David intended. He's trying to cover what he just did. He wanna make sure that the husband goes home. He knew he did something wrong. Now he's trying to cover it. The husband goes home and sleep with his wife, and then voila, they are going to have a baby, and nobody will know was David baby. And that was the plan. But this man was so excuse me, my throat got dry for talking. But this man was so committed to the work of God, and then for doing the right thing, that he didn't feel right going home. he stayed there where the ark and Israel and everybody stays in the tents. He stayed there instead. Verse 12, then David said to him, stay here one more day, and tomorrow I will send you back. So Uriah remained in Jerusalem that day and the next. At David's invitation, he ate and drank with him. So David all of a sudden is eating with Uriah. And I says Uriah had no idea what was going on. At David's invitation, okay. And David made him drunk. He thought he's going to be drunk. And then for sure he want to go home and rest and, sleep for the night. But in the evening, Uriah went out to sleep on his mat along with his master's servants, like David's servants, and he did not go home again. Probably was way too drunk to make it home now this time. So the plan pretty much failed completely. After that, they have to go back. So they come for a short time home, rest, or they get what they need, eat and all that, and then go back in the war. In the morning, David wrote a letter to Joab and sent it with Uriah. Even actually, he sent Joab his best, I would say his best person over there that he could trust. And not just that, he gives it to Uriah to take it to Joab. In it, he wrote, put Uriah out in front where the fighting is fiercest. Then withdraw from him so he will be struck down and die. Wow, that's a little harsh. Put him in the front. I would say, I'm not sure they call it in infantry. Put him in the first row where the words, what everything like the weapons on the enemy goes on the first people there. So while Joab had the city under siege, he put Uriah at the place where he knew the strongest defenders were. When the men of the city came out and fought against Joab, some of the men of David's army fell. Moreover, Uriah the Hittite died. And he was a good man, as we know so far. He was protecting the ark. He was doing the right thing. He was following God's commands. He was following David's commands, except going back home. But he seems to be a good man, the way it's prescribed here. 18, Joab sent David a full account of the battle. So he's the man that is keep tracking what's going on there. 19, verse 19, he instructed the messenger, when you have finished giving the king this account of the battle, the king's anger may flare up, and he may ask you, why did you get so close to the city to fight? Didn't you know they would shoot arrows from the wall? Who killed Abimelech, son of Jerubbaal Bechet? Didn't a woman drop an upper millstone on him from the wall so that he died in Thebez? They went very close to the wall, and then all these, women tried to fight from above and threw millstones down because they came too close to the wall. Why did you get so close to the wall? If he asks you this, then say to him, moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. So, unfortunately, he is innocent in everything what happened. But as David tried to cover his mess, now this gentleman, innocent man, died. David didn't kill him like straight with the arrow in his heart. He was placed in the front that will be killed. So I'm not sure it's called second case murder. He gave command to be killed. He didn't personally kill it, but it's pretty much now David is like a murderer. Okay. Wow. The messenger set out, and when he arrived, he told David everything Joab had sent to him to say. So Joab sent a messenger to David and said everything what happened. They got close to the wall. This was they died. They killed these. They even in the head. So this describe what is going on there. The messenger said to David, the men overpowered us and came out against us in the open, but we drove them back to the entrance of the city gate. So David's army were fighting the enemies who came on the open, and they drove back back to the entrance of their city gate. On the city they tried to capture. Then archers shot arrows at your servants from the wall, and some of the king's men died. Even the best ones died. Moreover, your servant Uriah the Hittite is dead. He wanna emphasize that is what David wanted, and then he got it. Wow. Now, verse 25. David told the messenger, say this to Joab, don't let this upset you. The sword devours one as well as another. So David tells to Joab, like, okay, they got the swords into our people, the Israelites, but the swords can devour the other side as well. Press the attack against the city and destroy it. Say this to encourage Joab. So David gives commands to the messengers what to do instead of him being there. And he was like a mighty warrior. He was just fighting and leading. But now he's from the back. I'm not sure exactly what happened this time. Sometimes even the bad spirits got him down. But I say he was deceived in many ways. And as I say, he keep pursuing, doing from little things, it got to be a murderer. For little tiny things. The eyes we saw, the desire came up, and to do bad things, to have somebody else's wife be sent to the palace, sleep with her, get her pregnant, and now he's trying to do anything in his power to kind of camouflage and work it out that nobody will know it. And now his plan, it was, I would say, the way he saw it succeeded, and the husband died. Verse 26, when Uriah's wife heard that her husband was dead, she mourned for him. That's why they married. They love each other, right? But didn't know this will happen. And she was obedient. She came to the palace. I'm not sure if she could say no to the king at all. I'm not sure what was in that time exactly, but I say, of course, if you're invited to the White House, you can say no to things. 27, or maybe she couldn't. 27, after the time of mourning was over, David had her brought to his house, and she became his wife and bore him a son. Since she was pregnant from David married her, brought to his house, and she gave her a son. But this son was made in sin, in big sin. Well, I shouldn't say that. Sin is sin. Even small or big, sin is sin. But the thing David had done displeased the Lord. He is the man after our own heart. He didn't ask, what should I do? God, what should I do? I didn't go to the war and all that. What should I do? Encounter of the Lord. Like, ask God what to do. He did not. This was the time when people fell, when they're always obedient to God, but they fell one time. And then it was a big fall for David. Wow. And we are going to continue this because it's more into the story. It got to the point that you think everything is going to be good for now, but that baby was born in sin, in big sin. I would say it's a big deal. And David, like everything is good now. The husband died. I got his wife. We have a child, and everything is good. It's not. The sin follows them around. And we're going to continue this. And I hope you enjoy it as much I enjoy it. Till next time, we say goodbye. Goodbye now.